All right, choosing the Glock for your first handgun. How to use it, the basics, and does it make a good first gun? I say yes, it does. This is the Glock 17, standard full-size semi-auto pistol. It was actually my first semi-auto. Previous to that, I had one revolver, which I used to get comfortable, but soon I got recommended to go with the Glock, as many people do, as their first handgun. Using it is pretty simple. There's not much to it. There's no hammer. There's no external safety. There's not much to it except a magazine release, the slide lock, and the magazine, and the trigger, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else you need to know about it. Just this one's been safety checked. It's empty magazine, dummy rounds. These are snap caps. They do nothing. They're just for practice and dry firing. And I'll kind of give you an idea on how this works. If you've never used the Glock before, it's very simple. You just load the magazine, press this down, slide this right into between these two lips. It gets harder as you put more in there because the spring is more compressed in there. But that's really it. This one holds up to 10 rounds, and there's a round indicator there so you could see how many you have in there. So I'm gonna put 10 for demo purposes. And the last one's a little bit tougher than the rest. Okay, so there's your loaded magazine with 10 rounds in there, as you can see by the round indicator. So once you have your magazine full and you have your gun here, as you can see, the trigger is set back. This is on, doesn't do anything. Once you load your magazine, and you want to firmly get that in there so it snaps, and you'll see the round in there. So right now it's loaded, however there's not a round in the chamber, so it still won't fire. The only way to get this ready to go is by racking the slide, and you can see what that does is it pushes the round into the chamber, and the little chamber indicator shows the round in there. As you can see, this little thing pops out of it. So now it's ready to fire. The trigger comes forward, the little trigger safety's there, and once you pull the trigger, the gun will fire. Of course, right now with the dummy rounds, it's not going to do anything, but I'll give you just an idea on the sound it makes, and that's it. That would fire the gun. What would happen is this slide would go back and forward. It would spit out the empty shell and load the next one in there. For demo purposes, and these dummy rounds are not going to do that, but the round would just pop out and another round would go in there. So let's say you've loaded it with ammunition and you don't want to use it. You could just as easily just pull these out. And I'll leave one in there to show you. If you had one in the chamber and you don't want to fire, what you would do is just simply rack the slide again and get that guy out of there. And with the empty magazine, the rack automatically stays back this way. And you know it's empty. You could physically feel and look down the chamber, see there's nothing in there. The magazine follower is here, nothing in there. And you would release, and now Do that a few times and really know there's nothing in there. Do it again, triple check, quadruple check, and then fire in a safe direction. And now the gun is back to its original state. Now let's say you have a magazine in there and you rack the slide and you take the magazine out. Many people forget that, hey, there's still one in the chamber. Yes, there's no magazine in here, but guess what? You racked the slide and you left one in the chamber. So this is how accidental or negligent discharging happens, is when you think you're empty, but you still have one in the chamber. And there's only two ways to get it out. One is fire, which you do not want to do. And two is rack the slide again till that round pops out of there. And that's really the basics on how to use a Glock. Do not ever put your finger in here until you're ready to shoot. Do not point it anywhere until you're ready to shoot. Keep it in a safe direction. Always treat it like it's loaded. Always rack the slide a few times. Make sure it's empty. You know, if you have to pull the trigger, pull it down or in a safe direction. And that's really it. That's really the basics on how to use a Glock. It makes a great first gun. Easy to use, not much to it. Reliable, dependable. Doesn't jam often, doesn't break down. Pricing is pretty affordable, $500 to $700 depending on where you get it. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.